Have you ever noticed that customers get hung up on the smallest things? Those small details of the customer experience that we don't think are very important to customers can become huge points of contention. One aspect of customer service that never seems to stop surprising less experienced frontline reps is that some customers make molehills into Mount Everest. And let's face it, that's how most of us, as customer-facing professionals, naturally view these issues. When someone hones in on a detail that we think is ridiculous, we may not physically roll our eyes, but we do it on the inside. But there is a way to handle this. One of the first steps in working with customers who seem to be fixated on the smallest details is to reframe how we view them, to stop looking down at what we perceive to be the ridiculousness of the reaction, and to remember that these molehills are simply another form of unmet expectations. Here are a few examples. At a fine dining restaurant, the customer gets upset because the waiter brought her a white napkin when she was wearing black pants. At a yoga class, a student gets upset because the instructor spent the first 5 minutes talking about yoga and she didn't get her full workout. In a customer's accounts payable department, the rep is angry that your invoices do not have the company logo on them so he can easily identify them. These certainly seem like small issues, and for most of us, even if we agreed that they were issues, we would consider them petty annoyances, not major problems. But these customers are angry and insistent that these issues represent terrible customer service. So let's break down the examples a bit. In fine dining restaurants, it is customary to present dark or light napkins, depending on clothing, so that the patron does not leave with visible lint on their clothes. So the customer is right, but why is she so upset? Possibly it's her. She's just having a horrible day, and you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or she's just not that nice a person and takes people to task because it makes her feel good. But there's also another option, and it is the one that is most important to consider. Perhaps it isn't just about the napkin. It's about the whole experience. The customer has certain expectations about how she should be treated in a fine dining situation. And the napkin is just a symptom of that greater failure to meet her expectations. Similarly, the customer who is upset because the yoga instructor spent the first 5 minutes of class talking. Perhaps the customer is just uptight and needs to take more yoga classes. But maybe the customer goes to yoga to turn off her mind, and the last thing she wants is to pay to hear people talk. Or perhaps the customer has a job where she bills by the hour, and frequently has customers pressing her about getting the full time they paid for. She feels like the yoga instructor should be a professional like her. Likewise, what can we possibly take away from the account payables rep's fixation on the logo? Is it just about the logo, which is really about his time and his hassle? Or is it about the fact that maybe he thinks dealing with the company is a hassle, and the logo is just one more thing that makes his job hard? Now, I'm not saying that every customer that blows up over a minor thing is justified by their unique perspective, or that they've been having other experience problems. People can be, special sometimes. What I am saying is that when we approach these situations, it is most helpful to shut down our internal eye roll and ask the question, what else is going on here? Because one of the biggest lessons I've learned in my years in customer experience and service is that if you dig into behavior that seems disproportionate to the situation, you will often find that it is simply a symptom of a larger set of issues with the customer's experience. Having this approach will not only help you get to the root of the issue, but will give you the perspective to dig further and solve the underlying issues. The key takeaway is reframing our own perspectives. Try not to think of these customers as high maintenance or ridiculous, even if they are. Trying to remember that while these mountains might seem like molehills to us, they are important to the customer, and that is what matters and where we should always begin. And if you want to learn more about how to do these things and become a customer hero, make sure to check out our Rapid Hero virtual training courses at customersthatstick.com.